For Mr. Serre, the gnomon authorizes the search for what is not known, that which knowledge itself does not know. Welcome, Professor Ludger Hovestadt, who is a professor. Do you? Yeah. Professor for computer-aided architectural design at the ETH Zurich, and he's an architect, inventor, and founder of several companies in the IT sector. And his perspective integrates politics, demographics, art, and technology in a post-industrial era. Welcome, Ludger.
Started with? Is it there? Yeah, it's okay. And so this is a kind of things in progress around our topics of this conference. And I'm very excited because I'm actually doing it. So that's very important. So for me to get, as an architect, as a computer scientist, I'm getting very excited with. So that it's working like that. So it might be super abstract, it will be very fast, but it's doable. So that's my main message with that. So I want to show a new kind of writing. I would call it circular writing. This is the outline. There's alternative titles. It might be the Digital Architectural Studio or towards your private Google. So this is the thing I want to talk about. It's always complicated to start what I'm interested in. So a lot of you know, so we had all these companies around 2008. We succeeded in a Turing test, so we had a fully automatic. I'm not a computer graphic guy, which is very interesting. So I don't like computer graphics because it's too rhetoric. I'm always in artificial intelligence and in the structure of things. So and in 2008, we succeeded the Turing test. So we had an architectural design, fully automatically done, anonymously to a competition, and we won a prize. Not the first prize, we won a prize. So nobody likes this idea, or liked it. Today might be different. So then we started thinking about what might architecture be if you are able to do that and fake architecture by machines. What is architecture then? And the second question is, what is this crazy computer technology, what is the crazy concept of information and so on is about? So we went for mathematics, philosophy, and the principal computer science for a long time, for about 10 years now. We wrote books. Now we are back again. So I'm pretty sure how it works. I'm pretty sure how there's a pathway how to go back to the architectural studio. And this is the first step. I want to introduce you how this might work so that you can use machine intelligence as a fertile ground to domesticate it in an architectural way. Something like that, and how this might work. I want to show you that. So the complicated part is always what information is about and so on. And for me, the most astonishing thing is that people think, this is one entry point, that people think time is a fourth dimension. So I can't understand that. So if you are in space, you are able to walk around. So that's a spatial object, X, Y, and Z. So you're going back and forth and so on. Time is always passing by. So it's completely of a complete different nature. So in this, I think it's a very fundamental distinction, and I don't understand why we think time as a fourth dimension. Or then we have fifth, sixth, or eighth dimensions, and we fantasize around. That's crazy. But time is not of that kind. That's what I want to show. So now these are a few, I don't have a board, so I made some sketches and with my phone, and I showed it. So this is a line of things. And these things evolves in time, and you can't go back. This is how it works, how things work. So there's no way around. Just a puzzle around, and you can't go back. So, and there's another one, and then you meet all your friends, and there are more of them, and so on. So, and what we currently have is that we get this global network of things, billions of these traces of these things, and in time, we are losing all sense. So this is what I want to tell you. This is what our crisis today is. That if everybody is if everything is connected, and it's going exponentially in depth and connection, it's going everywhere, all aspects of our life. So then there's this nice story that we are friends over 2 generations. So from here, 1, 2, we are friends with everybody on this planet. So we are happy with that, somehow. But we are not happy that we are connected to any act of terror on this planet. Of course, we are. So we feel a little uncomfortable with that. We are not happy that there are thousands of theories, or millions of theories around. So you can make any argument. So there's no reason. The more things are connected, you can make an argument, and you always find reasons for that in 3 steps. So on this ground, so whatever we thought, it's that we are stable, we have stable ground, that we can find reason for things, it's flooding away with this new information technology. So we are losing the sense in time. So therefore, what I would say, the more pictures we take, the more connections we have, and so on, we can do anything. Everything gets fake. So it's complicated to find what is reasonable and what not. And we can't find it any longer in our ground. It gets fluid with the digital. So we have to leave the conception of time passing. So, and we step into space. We simply say, we have to go differently. And we have to look and start going around this flow of things. So, and I think with this, we had it very often now, this is my thinking of how this is. So we simply put a stick there, it's definite, and you say it's not all the other things. It's not of this world. It's not connected. And by that, in principle, you can start to get from this linearity and this flow of things, you start to circulate things. So, and this is what you're doing with the gnomon, with the triangle, with geometry, and so on. And this says we are in a new space. We are reborn, it's a renaissance, in a new level of spatiality. So we left the flow of things. We stepped out from time to a new notion of space. And we are afraid of that. And now we entered a kind of digital space and so on. And we will show you that I will make arguments. The interesting is, like relativity theory and so on, my hypothesis is that around 1900, we, with the quantum, with the computing, with the mathematics of that time, we start to circulate time. We stepped out of the flow of time. And part of that is that computers can connect anything and make things fluid. So it's a kind of self-referential thing. So this is my conception and introduction to what I'm doing, and this is our planet. We had it with a stone as a planet, so I liked it very much. So now we have 2 different attitudes toward our thing. We can look from out the space. So this is what my hypothesis is we are in. We are in a kind of renaissance. So we stepped out of the flow of time. And I would say this is heliocentric. And that's this. Yeah, you are an atom in a new world. We have this gnomon. So therefore, you gather the circularity of things, and you are all that not. And you simply give things a name, and these things are of infinity. For example, here, this is, give them the name. You say A or pi. So and this name is of infinity because it's circular. So it's a projection from the circle to your point. You say, I'm all this, all not. And by that you can give it a name, a cipher. So on here, for example, this is the number pi, you know that, but you can have it with 100,000 digits and so on. You see, this is pi. It's really not ending. And you simply say, I don't care. I know it's infinite. So I don't bother that there's an infinity of things. I'm stepping out. I'm in space, not in time. So, therefore, you affirm infinity and make just decisions as a Renaissance point. So, which is paradox. You have no, you can't make just the decisions in the flow of things. But you simply say, that I think is the heliocentric step. So we left the space of time just to make it symmetric and to get a contrast from the other side with light. So I would say this is geocentric. And this is with times and numbers. And I give you the correspondent difference. So now we are center of a circle. So we are paradox. We are part of nature. And now we try to make a straight step in time. So the right proper step according this line. Overflow. I can't get back. It's done. Yeah. So therefore, I have to really take care to make the right steps. So that's it here. And our luggage is the cosmological order, just the other way around from. So this is the inverse of the gnomon. So we are not part of that today. We had it 150 years before 1900, 250 years ago, we had this kind of setup. So, and now, yeah, you are of paradoxed and make straight steps. And you know this never ends. So you have the problem with infinity, with combinatorial explosion, and so on, what all computers have. So computers are here, and we have to affirm, this is our computers, and machine intelligence is here. This gets automatic. All this gets, whatever happens in the 18th, 19th century, gets to the machines in connectivity. This is flooding away. And we have to get comfortable with an heliocentric step out. So this is my introduction. Very short, very fast. So, now, what I'm thinking always is if we are circulating like that around with the gnomon, I would say it's it's about, there are two different attitudes. So you can say it's looking and talking. This is what I think we have in the space setup. We are looking and we are talking. And then we get a loop like this. In the geocentric, we listen and we write, whatever it means. So, and this is a nice kind of double articulation we know. So, to give an idea of how this might work, for example, in paintings. This is a talking painting. This is a listening painting. This Renaissance, and this is classicism. And you do the same with sculptures, talking, listening. So, and if you go in this time, things are talking. If you go to this times, they are listening and writing. but there can be a lot of meditation about these things, looking how these masters did it in their time and so on. But I think this is enough for a hint to be fast. So what I strongly believe is that we have what we have to trust in if we enter in a new space and there is nothing. So we are a little alienated. No, not a little. We are aliens. So, and we only can trust, and this is what Alberti did as well, and the Renaissance guys. They trust in a new kind, or they invented an archaeology. They said there must be symmetries in if we are strangers, if we are aliens to the new world, so it's nothing. Then we just can trust in whatever we are not. And this is the origin, in my understanding, of a new kind of archaeology. So, and I would give you now an axis how this might work. So we had it with Christian, for example. This is the gnomon with the Greeks. What they did is, with these kind of, with the gnomon, with these kind of geometry, they decoupled space from things. So the time of, the flow of things. So they made a step out and they invented space as a conception. This is what I would say with this. So then geometry is stabilizing, alienating points of not being things in space. And by that they define geometry and so on. Rhetorics, all these canon of things. The medium to express was phonetical writing. So, and these are ciphers. For example, this is an A. So, and this can be anything. So it's in this flow, it's just the rotating of the word. It's not anything, but it's an A. So again, you can say N. And then it makes click. So, and then you can continue. Another cipher. And here it is. Out of nothing. It's a small thing, animal. Or you can simply change this and you have art. Magic. So this is completely alien to the Egyptian or Babylonian world. And it's insane that you're able to do that. That's it. Doing the same thing in Renaissance. I would say the gnomon is this. Time is flowing, space is flowing away. They stepped out towards time. So chronological. Not the flow or linearity. So by that, spaces are rotating around the new axis, the new gnomon. And these are the apparatus for that. This is how to do it, and this is how it performs. So things in space get fake because we are in time. So it depends on how you're looking, what is going on. And this is Renaissance. A new word, alien. So you decouple time from space. As the Greeks decoupled space from things. As a rough estimation I did. So now if you look at Descartes, all these alienated points, you put them in a principal order. There's Descartes. And then check. You can interpolate between them. These are the smooth lines. This is a theater. This is a modern theater of Renaissance. You simply can move in time. And because you are in time, you can make constructions, you can make drawings. You can't make drawings of space in space. You have to get out of space to make drawings about space in time. So then you get all the points in between, which is the movement, or which are the properties of things as dimensions. So in strong parallel to that, I would say today we have it like this. What we have with these metrics, this is the probability metrics of what Google and the internet is working with. These are, I think, is the new gnomon. These are the machineries, the processors, and this is the definition of the Lambda calculus. And whatever things of spaces and time and chronological things we have, we interpolate. We can move between existences. And we can interpolate smoothly. This is what we are able to do, whatever it means. Just by analogy, just by these symmetries in these thinking, we can extrapolate. And we can say, okay, this is, I think, the role of digital archaeology. So this is what this ground here is what the internet is delivering us. This is like the grid with the card. So, and we simply can move freely in between all things of the world. Beautiful. Good. Now, form and structure. So if you see the technical, so not the conceptual, the conceptions of computing started in 1880 with the mathematics. Google is an algorithm with Markov written as a Russian mathematician in 1904. They got it in 1998 as a patent, which is absolutely strange. So all the conception of computing is in 1880, 1900, 1920. Don't believe other things. So in the 20th century, we experienced an amazing or an enormous secularization and distribution of these technical artifacts. So we are overwhelmed with that. Conceptually, it's very slow. So we are in the center of a hurricane in conceptually. So this took me 20 years to understand that we don't have to hurry if we are in the eye of this circle. If we leave time and go to space and go to, for example, life, as I would say it. So this is a technical evolution of languages and digital languages. I would say there are 3 different phases of artificial intelligence, of paradigms in computing languages, and I would classify them with a lot of standard books in these theories. The first is this is procedural programming. This is what people think computers are. We have these diagrams. If A is bigger than 3, then go left. If it's slower, go left, go right, and then do this, carry this, and do that. So it's like the idea of a production line of things, of a factory, which means that the form of production is specific and the structure is unimportant in this conception. So we had these mainframes, we had these protagonists here, and we had this architecture. Very interesting. BIM is in this field. Next level, at least 10,000 times more computing power, at least 10,000 times more penetration of IT on our planet, is object-oriented programming. Here it is that the structures and the interfacing of things, so a Logitech mouse with a Dell laptop and a Toshiba monitor. This just works because it's not defined how this machine works, it's defined how they are connected. So therefore the structure is defined, and they don't say how you're doing things. They simply say, and they make a kind of nice interface in what you should do. Printing, new fonts, you see what you get and all these kind of things. And it's up to the user to make the next step. So this is just a layout of things you can do, and the computer simply waits for your next choice. So therefore, you are with the forms, and the computer is with the structure. This is object-oriented programming. PC is 10,000 times more than this first layer. So these are the aliens, and this is the architecture. So there are standards around 1980, how this works. Today we are here, and I would say it's generic. These are markup languages, and they are free in form and structure. That's very important. So the standard is XML. This is how the internet works, and I want to show you how this is because this is of major importance. So like Sullivan's form follows function and so on, this is a kind of, this was something for the museum. The internet is not working, it's just working because you don't have any pre-assumptions in form or structure. And because of that, it's so powerful. So the interfaces are this, these are the aliens, and this is the architecture. We can discuss that. So standard is 2004. And I don't believe, so I think conceptually this found saturation. So what IT is a quantum phenomena, which means we stepped out of form and structure. So there's nothing we need from the old world to make our point in life, I would say, to leave time. So, and I'm always looking for things, so it can't be a big invention, it has to be there. So that's very, very important. So it always has to, we have to turn our view to things, to see things. So, the Lambda calculus is, there are two notions from 1930 about what computing is, technical ways of implementation of how computing works. One is von Neumann. This is the athletic part of it. So which means it's the hardware. So this is what most of the stuff works and is received as, which means we try to calculate the connections, we try to calculate the computing power, the amount of transistors and so on, and how the registers and so on. So this is how, and all this is computers running in an athletic way. So this is how this is how people look at computing today. So it's bodily, and then you have the movies, and people get afraid that computers are faster than men and so on, and then they make these transformer movies and some machines taking over planet, killing the last people to eat the brain. So these nice stories. So this is the athletic part, and this is von Neumann. Same year, 2 years difference, is Alonzo Church. This is the intellectual part of computing. So it's not the running of computers, this is the circulating of computers. And this is the Lambda calculus. The Lambda calculus is 1934, and this is an abstraction of form and structure. Von Neumann has either form or structure, and it's a lot of preconditions to run, and therefore people say, this is what we understand, because it's delivering computing in schemes of old thinking. Before that, it's a kind of rhetorics. The Lambda calculus is circulating, and it's getting a little complicated. For me, it was, now with this work, it was very, very astonishing that the Lambda calculus and XML are of the same structure. XML has the same setup like the Lambda calculus. That is beautiful. And this environment, Mathematica, has the same. So this is the most prominent current implementation of the Lambda calculus. And it's like this. For architects, very important. So here you have the form. And then with these square brackets, you have a structure. And you simply say, this form should be in this structure. And then you evaluate that, and then you get 5. Okay, that's good. Now you can change all the forms and all the structures. Here, for example, we have here a set of forms and structures. It's kind of yeah, it's self-referential, and it's nested, and it's a fractal of forms and structures, nested forms and structures, but you see there are forms, there are structures, these are the organic forms in the structure, and so on. So, and what all this does is, it simply makes a layout. It says make hay, bold, and red, blue, make the same thing a red, put that as text and make it a cell, and then print this cell. Bam. So instead of arithmetic, I'm simply layouting. So now look again. Now we have this. We have a form, structures, and so on. We say red sphere, bam bam, radius of 1, another sphere at another point in blue, graphics 3D. Look what happens. Bam. Next. Here we have, like we had hay, italic, bold, hay, italic, hay, print the text, print that, and then here we get HTML code. And we can print this HTML code and get a website with it. So here, for example, now they have this guy here, A. I simply say he's 2. And now this 2 can go to different apartments. Oh, no, he says, for example, we had it. We say we want to have plus. Now we have A2 here. We want to have plus. Then this A is getting friends with the 3, and then they are in the apartment of the plus, and they make 5. So, or they say, you know, now he gets with the text A. Then you say, okay, take the first 2 letters of text. Yeah. So if he gets friend or in bed with another, then it's the 2 first of bed. Yeah. They simply don't care. So now, for example, expression 1 here. This is what we discussed. Then we have hey. Yeah, because A is now as a sizer of the text. Or he can, this is expression 1. So now in expression 2, he goes to the diameter of the, well, let's look what it is. No, it's an amount of circles. So if I go here for, yeah, we can, so it's amount of circles. Or here we go for the position of a circle in a 2-dimensional grid. Or here we go for the size of a bar. Or here we go for the viewpoint in X, viewpoint position in X on a 3-dimensional scene. So, or here we go for the seconds in a movie to get the frame of it. Somewhere in the internet or something. So these guys are super flexible. So they simply don't care about any structure, they populate it. So and all these elements of these structures are of the same kind. So you simply don't know what they are. And they circulate around and pop up and something happens. So if you are able to balance on these circles, it's beautiful. You don't stuck. It can be anything. Communication. Or do we have a? No, here. Now, this is this is a kind of. Yeah. Okay. Now we set it up. So look at this. Here we have a slider of A. So we say A is a slider between O and 4. It's getting interactive. Because it's dynamic, it's a connection to this. Now we make a row of our expressions, things I showed, expression 1, all these things. So now you see all these expressions. So the A is visiting them all in parallel. So this is A. And now look at this. I'm changing A. It's simply working. So, and if you like, for example, I can, this is, for example, here, magnify, for example, this whole thing by A, the 6 plus 0.5. So now, look at this. You can do whatever you like with it. That's circular. So if you imagine now a word processor, the internet and so on, they are plain. They are layouts, and we are afraid of it that there are so many of them, so many pixels, so many words, so many theories. Everything is a lot. So, and the word processor is a sequence of characters in the old Greek way. And this is simply a sequence of words, of characters. What we are now doing is, the words are whatever you like. If you write whatever you like, they are always running in circles. This is what coding is. And I would simply say the difference between code and writing is it's circular writing. Like in a perspective, you have a building, instead of a real building, you simply turn the building. And now we turn whatever we have in time, we turn it. And if we know how to balance, we simply give it a name, like for the number, for pi, we say it's circle, it's infinite, it's simply working. We give it a name, done. That's circular writing. It's incredible. And that's coding. And it's super elegant, and that's it. And it has only the mathematical setup is very few lines of axioms how this works. Now, if these are aliens of any kind of structure, any kind of form, and you can't know whether they change over time because they're circulating everything. And you can't know what's going on. What is expression 2? What is 3? And so on. They're simply going around. So and you want to talk with them. So this is how internet works. I'll show you. Cases. This is a very key to the word. It simply say, give me all cases of the word corresponding to this key and give it on all levels in this fraction of setup. So, and of course, this is self-referential, so expression 01, this gives expression 01. So, this gives you all, so expression 01 was this, or we can go to expression 02. So if I have the word as expression 02, then 01 is not matching. So here, it's on itself. So that's not a magic thing. So now, go for 2. Where we had it here. Expression 02 was this. Go here and say. So that's the same like this. Now we have expression 02, done. So that's the same thing, but expanded. Now we can say, I simply say, I'm not interested in all this stuff here. So I simply make that a joker. It's not wrong, right, but I have to make it. So now this is a joker. I'm not specific in that. So now I say, for example, I'm not specific in the color, or I'm not specific in the form of things. So then I can say, give this a variable, a joker. And we put here all our world. We can even say with magnify and everything. With that, then he gets both. Or we can ask for the colors. We can say X and ask, what is it? What are the colors of it? I get the colors. Whatever it is. So it's the world, huh? You can put the world in here, whatever it is. And you simply make a key what you're interested in. You ask a question. And you get things. And you can, yeah? You can get it very specific and so on. So that's how it works. So for example here. Now, if you have what we had here, you're looking for example, no, there's a key. I'm looking for the disk or the red disks in whatever it is. So take these guys here as well. We can give them a name, the whole word or whatever. So we take this, and then we're looking for a red disk and asking for the y coordinate for it. So then we get the actual y coordinate. So, yeah? Now, we have this x, we have this structure, it's a primitive structure, we could just have the number. Now we can, for example, put it into any kind of expression. We simply say magnify, table, graphics, this was the double bond and 3 dots with the disks. And then I say the table here should be, instead of A, we simply say it should be the X. Now we take the X as the form out of whatever it is, and we put it simply into another structure. So we translate it. Now we have the height of a bath, in this case, translated into the number of circles. So we don't have to understand what this is. I can put whatever I like, hey, and it doesn't matter. You're simply not interested in that. It doesn't, the key doesn't match. So this is what we as architects dreaming of, that the buildings, whatever structure and form they have, can communicate. So normally we think it must, if you want to compare things, they have to share either form or structure. They have to be connected, they have to be this and that and so on. Communication means they're circular. They're whatever they like. Then you have to test, and you ask more and more questions, you specify your keys, crisscross, and then you get an understanding. It's a questioning. There's no truth any longer in this structure. And either you master good questions and creating new forms out of it, or you don't. So that's the process. And this is how internet works. So it's not magic. It's simply interesting that you are able to do it on these computers, this fast, these tiny computers. It's so interesting. It takes 20 years that you, and for me, that you get this substantial, and I think substantial understanding of what's going on. And it's emancipating from all these restrictions what we think computers are. So I'm asking these questions, you see, these renderings here, putting it into another structure, and this is my model, and this is my world. So this is my world. I have to ask, this is the world, this is my question, and this is my model. And I have to do it, otherwise the word is running. What I'm writing here is not part of the word. My result is part of the word. This is a step out, very simple in these things. So now to give you an idea that this works. For example, here, go and let's look what it is. System open. So this is the Reuters news here. This guy, that's the news from Reuters. So this is what we see. The code is this. So you see it's a kind of code, as I explained to you, and it's horrible. So, and the beauty is now we have this tool. For example, if you want to have this thing here, I can copy that. We don't want, see all the hierarchies there? It's insane, yeah? HTML. So, and paste it. So, what I'm interested in, you see how it works here. So we have a certain key, H starts, it's a header 1, it ends here. So then you see it's a header line that you say, oh, it's interesting, but I'm not really interested in that. So you simply take what you're interested in. You simply say this here. I'm interested in this. I put an X, take it, and make these string cases. So let's first start here. This is URL. I import this text. So this is the text we'd seen. So it's there. So you see, it's nonsense. Yeah? You can't do anything with it, but it's everything. So you don't care. You simply say, take this HTML, that's my word, this is my key, and this is my model. It's exactly what we did here with our graphical tool. So and if I go here, I get it. I get the title of the text because the key matches. Take another, another news. Maybe there's another, go something here. No. Where's Reuters? Trump slam, that's good. Here. Now, take this website, put it here, and say our URL now is this website. Now we load this text and we get the new title. We don't have to change the key. It's beautiful. So you can have millions of titles just by putting here the internet. You get all the Reuters titles. And it's a matter of time. It's to the machines to get that. So this is what I wanted to show you, how it works. Yeah? Beautiful and simple. Now the studio. What I think, what we have with the internet and with this kind of principal connectivity, I can do it myself. So I don't need to be Google for that. I simply do it, like Google is doing it. Crawling all time, all internet with these machines. And de facto, it doesn't matter if you have, so for example, with this computer, you can have 50,000 views per day crawling, or 100,000 floor plans per day, or 2 million pictures per day. So it's no problem. So, and it doesn't matter whether you have 2 million or 2 billion, yeah? So, somewhere it's enough. You get a statistical, precise coverage of what's going on at this day. So it's, you don't need to have a huge data center. By the way, these data centers to rent, it's super cheap, yeah? To have massive capacity there. So therefore, I think what you have is a picture of the world. But it's a panorama. So it's the interior of these Renaissance things. This is what we've seen today. If you look at in Renaissance like this, if you look for things in the 20th century, not to be too actual, it's like this. And in the architectural office, we have these things. In principle, we are doing it. They're simply collecting things, putting it to the wall, and then they are discussing and so on. So digitally, it looks like this. So for example, I make a new document. I simply say MTP book. This is my software. Create Reuters, and I say Reuters. You want to have it bigger? You see better. Reuters, and we have 1811. What is our day? 09. And I want to have 12 news. I can say to 1000 or 2000, then it takes overnight. So I'd simply take that. He's looking for the actual news. Now he's getting all the news from Reuters. And creating a book. Here we are. And now these are our news without advertisements. It's simply there, and it's part of your library. It's a book. You have the sources, and then did nothing but looking for my tweets, what is new of the day, the tweets of Reuters, then went to the Reuters, and I had some keys and translated it to my book. So the way how I archive my things of interest. This is my panorama. And you see it's simple and it's fast. Now, go for example, these are links here. This is my, my new document here. So now go for Gutenberg. I simply can say, for example, a book. Huh? You know these servers, so let's get rid of this stuff. Just to give you an idea that Gutenberg, Spiegel. Now here there are 10,000 of books, and you say Robert Musil. So Robert Musil, here is this famous guy, Mann oder Eigenschaften. So this is a book, and it's very uncomfortable to read that. Yeah. So then, and you can't work with it. So this is a number for it, and this is the number you need. So, or I had this with the first book, make it with the second. Mann ohne Eigenschaften, 2, and create the book. It's circulating. Now it takes a little time, because it's a big book. And here we are, it's there. Now we have the book of Musil. And it's part of our panorama. And I take him and put it here to read. Everything is there. And you can command, it's your word editor. Save it, you have it for your use, to make your models. Okay, now if I want to see the Theresa May, okay, remember that, save it. So these are my links. Now you can start to imagine, no? This is simply working. So we go for Peter Greenaway. This is a movie. Play it.
Where's Richard? He's plugging. He's plugging. Richard! Richard!
That's him. Go here. It's a book. It's automatically generated from the movie with the subtitles, and you have it. It's there. So we have the link here. We go to another book, another movie. We go to another scene.
No person should use the main stably armed gates whatsoever. And no person should use or interfere with the windows, the furniture, vacuum or others.
Yeah? Play around with this. There's this. Where's my talk? I lost my talk. So these are the movies. Or we have music, huh? So these are the movies. Or take these links. These links. Go to music. Now we have this Kraftwerk. We have the lyrics, we play. We keep this link, put it here. We have circular writing on things. Go to Design Boom. This is a block on prefabricated homes and buildings, automatically generated part of your environment. Go to the image source, take this thing as a link, take this as a link, go here, go for the source, seamless integration into anything. Go to Alberti. It's a book, PDF, automatically scanned and put into your environment, everything there. Original things. Here the page source of the scan. So this, I think, is your panorama. So this is status what I'm currently doing, and you can expand it to infinite. The interesting thing is you get an interactive personal version of the web, seamlessly integrated into what is delivered to you, and what normally you get treated with as a consumer for it. And by that, you're able to, not to run, you're able to circulate things, and you're able to write with that. And you're in the center, and you get the chance to master it, because you don't have to run any longer. So I think then we are in these classical schemes, and I can show things here yet. So we have the classical studio, and then we present our model. So I showed that in this schematic setup with communication. Add it here with the circles. So what you have is the panorama. You have your tables. You're making your experiments, asking the panorama, asking the world, making a layout. You are rich in all media and everything. You can have it. You're using tools of Google to keep overview about 10,000, 100,000 of books, pictures, texts, and whatever. They're all in the same format because this is your library. This is your panorama of the world. You collect these things. You got rich. You lay out and make experiments on your table, and then you translate it into another form, which is your architectural model. It's a translation of the plenty into a very specific point on this planet, which then, yeah, are proud people being able to do that, models, and this is outside of the panorama. You make the step out of this circle, and then you're there in the new world with your architectural articulation. So this is what I'm proud of, that this somehow works as an idea and conception, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Ludger. And now questions and comments, please. If there are no questions, then we...
Thank you very much, Ludger. You mentioned one sentence, among others, one sentence struck me. You mentioned one has to step out of space in order to draw space. Would you, like what you showed us in the end, this production of the panorama, would you describe it as such a step? Is this like this step?
No, I think what I'm very happy with is that this architecture studio is working like that. So you have all these stuff of the world, you're collecting all these books of other architects, you have the printouts, you're working like that. You're putting everything to your zone. Then you have the table for experiments, and you're translating all the time. And all these things in your shelves at the wall and so on, yeah, spaces. So you start to communicate with them in an architectural office. So, and I'm happy that this is a kind of, you simply can follow this scheme. So I would be very unhappy if we simply say we have to think differently. For example, like these BIM people now do, you have to work like in a production line or something. So I would be very unhappy with that. So it's just a digital version of it, and by that you get competitive. So, because by that you are out of the production line. Because you have any production line, you're faster, you're circulating it. Production line is always athletics. And that's the way how it works, and that is very promising, I think. And I'm happy that I can find metaphors or working that are, it must be, we all are not stupid. It must be there, but we're not able to see it. So, and therefore I think what you have in the offices, this is a picture of the world. I would say it's of the whole world. So then you have your tables to work with, and then you present your model. That's your articulation. You go out. So on with Palladio, it looks like this. Where is he? Here. This is a panorama, and it corresponds to this. And this is how he presents it. The model. And this is specific, and this is a certain point. It's a global locality. This is what we're dreaming of. This is what we need. And this is of human intelligence. And this is resisting the flow of things, because it's circulating. It knows. But it's able to articulate and make its point. That's what this architecture is. And I think looking at 20th century architecture like this is very simple. And things get very easy in understanding their positions and interpret what they're doing. It's very uneasy if you have, for example, Siegfried Gideon trying to explain what Bauhaus is doing. It's very uneasy. I never can understand what he's arguing.
First of all, thanks for the talk. I think just a question about what happens when you step out and extrapolation of the panorama. Now, it seems in the light of the conversations that took place yesterday as well, that somehow, once we step out, we have a certain number of problems, and therefore certain, let's say, form of legitimizing knowledge, however it's being generated, still are finding troubles to find traction, basically. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that we still seem to have these transformations, seem to have not been happening in such a smooth environment. Therefore, we have, for instance, notions of Europe which seems to be troubled by all this. So, I wonder whether you've had any thoughts on these things. What happens when you step out? And because the studio example you bring seems to suggest that we can rely on certain historical pre-established forms of legitimizing knowledge within the architecture studio, but in terms of political, territorial, that seems more complicated. It doesn't seem that we can simply bank on things we had before.
Of course not.
Okay.
You really have to the problem is you have to find, if you step out, you need stability. Huh? And therefore, I think it's not by accident that, for example, this villa is simply out of the village. Huh? It's just opposite. There must be a lot of trouble with these people there. They simply don't like it. So nobody likes it. So you expose yourself and say, yeah, you're alien. These are alien buildings. And it takes generations to convince people that this is okay. The same with Bauhaus and so on. It simply takes a long time that people get convinced. And you're exposing yourself as an alien. And your articulations have to be like that. So it's rough in this alienated planet. It's really rough, yeah, of course. And it's flooding. All the things around you trust in, you know, are flooding away. You can't trust anything. Everything is fake. And to find stability, it's complicated. It's a masterful act of self-consciousness, precision, and mastership, that you're able to balance the things in the plenty, in the flow of the plenty. This is what I think the big architectural offices are able to do, somehow balancing these things.
Thank you very much, Ludger. And